Yeah, we're online.
All right, we're up.
Nice. Let me mute the audio.
Oh, there it is.
25 Media made it. Hey, anyone that's listening right now, how is the audio? Is there any feedback or like any weird stuff going on? If you could drop it in the chat.
Bro, who are the two people that already disliked? Come on now.
Can you guys read the chat or no?
I can't read the chat now.
Yeah, me neither.
You don't. I wouldn't watch the chat on the stream. I would actually. There should be a main chat box where you can actually type, and you should be able to.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Where's the chat box at?
It's to the right.
You have minimized the screen. That's the reason why.
Yeah, so scroll down.
Now I'm seeing it.
I see it. Dude, there's a lot of people here, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, already.
All right, audio is good. I think we're solid.
Yeah, nice.
Sweet.
How many does it say is watching? Because it says 36 watching, but already 146 likes.
146?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
47.
Oh, 37 watching.
How are there 37 people watching?
It probably
Yeah,
just
it
lags.
says
But
there's
it's only
only 40.
147.
Yeah.
Probably just
How
lags a
the
little
views
bit.
are updated.
So where's everybody from?
I'm from Southern California. I'm in San Diego.
North Texas.
North Texas.
Hey.
California, San Diego. I'm like 20 minutes from Greg.
And the viewers?
You're both from North Texas. Did you know each other before YouTube?
No, we actually met up
no.
though.
Yeah, we met up once, and I reviewed his his turbo Miata.
Yeah, with no wastegate on it. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
No
Went through
wastegate at all.
McDonald's.
Oh yeah, yep. We gotta meet up again. That was freaking awesome.
Dallas, Australia, Romania, Netherlands, New
A
York.
little bit of everybody here.
Yeah.
Gabe, how's your wastegate going now?
So I actually picked up a new turbo yesterday. I drove an hour and a half out to Corsicana, Texas, and I got a like the same turbo, RB20 turbo. So
With-
Yeah,
$80.
With the same flange?
$80.
85. Yeah, $80. Yep, same flange. It's the same exact turbo I have. So
That's lucky.
it's actually pretty clean.
So you will be fitting it this weekend?
Yeah, that's the plan. Whenever I stop being lazy, I'm gonna make a video on it.
I just got my coilovers in the other day. I only put 2 in yesterday because of fitment issues.
eBay coils.
Yeah, eBay coils, dude, for the win. But it was really only like a little rubber stopper that I had to trim down a little bit. That was it.
Or does that always when I buy eBay parts you need to trim something or make it different?
That's
But
true.
At
I'm
least
scared
it's
for the
cheap.
front. Yeah, it is cheap. It was very cheap. And the backs are like slammed now.
We even have someone from Africa.
Damn.
Okay, David, for those people that do not know of your channel, why don't you give a brief overview of your... People think I know Broken Boosted. You know Broken Boosted better than me because you did it for about
Yeah.
half of what I did it for.
So true.
Tell
Yeah,
everyone like how old you were and everything, and kind of an overview of your build.
So my first build, my first like YouTube video that got pretty big actually was how to turbo your Miata dirt cheap, and that was me. I want to say last year, I believe. I'm not too sure anymore, but it was my old 1.6 blue Miata that I turbocharged in my driveway in like about a week, and it was running no intercooler. People gave me a lot of shit for that, but when you're running low boost, I feel like that's not really necessary to an extent. But
you
I
really...
did no intercooler. I ran an FMU for fuel, and I did it for like $600 about, and it ran mint. It ran mint for a couple months, and then I blew the turbo up because the way I did my oil drain, it wasn't draining right, and it just built up a lot of pressure in the turbo, and it just blew it up. Then I sold the car. And then, but yeah, my channel's Spoolin'Mexi, if you haven't heard of it or whatever. But yeah, it's still pretty small, only about 3,000 subs, but hopefully it grows.
Yeah, so in case anyone doesn't know all the channels, we have Luca with Luca Car Mods. David is
Right.
Spoolin'Mexi. Gabe
Yeah.
is Novice Garage, and Tyler Fialko is himself.
Greg, maybe you can put the channels in the description.
Oh, that's a good idea. I will do that.
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you had this.
I'm gonna put it right now.
David, how many V6 Mustangs did you beat?
How many V6 Mustangs? I didn't beat any V6 Mustangs, but I beat a V6. Damn, what's it called? It's like a Pontiac. I forget what they're called, dude. Damn, what is it? Firebird, is it? Like the V6 Firebird or something?
Oh, like the old one? Okay. Yeah, my dad used to
Yeah.
have one of those.
They have the pop-ups. I beat one of those. That was the extent. But yeah, it was decently faster. Not gonna lie, I miss it. I'm ready to do it again on the 1.8 that I just got.
Yeah, so talking about intercoolers, my buddy ran between 7 and 8 pounds on his car with no intercooler, and he had MegaSquirt, so he could actually monitor the intake temps. And 7 or 8's probably about the max you want to run. He's getting the intake temps close to 200 degrees, over a longer pull. So any more boost than that, you're only making more heat. But yeah, down the lower boost numbers, totally fine. No intercooler.
Yeah,
the long
I was doing
pull,
7.
Yeah, the long pulls are what really builds a lot of heat.
Yeah, that's what I did notice, because around the turbo area, I was getting hella heat. It was very hot. I had to protect everything around the area.
Oh yeah, selfie. Oh my
Yeah,
Snapchat.
Someone has asked about your mustache.
What's that?
Someone's asking about your mustache, if you're growing it. Are you bringing back the mustache?
Everyone's always asking about it. Here's what happens. Like, I'll grow it to its maximum potential, and half the people in my comment section will be like, oh, shave that pedophile half-grown caterpillar off your face. And the other half are like, as soon as I shave it, they're like, bring it back! Video invalid without mustache.
You need to put some pedo bear stickers on your car then.
I should. I should just color it in with like a colored pencil.
Yeah. And no one has asked. Oh, well, now Tyler needs to stand his Corvette.
He does.
I have a girl fan. Her name is Brianna. She said
it's
she likes my
already
mustache.
super low.
It's just gonna be a daily, right? How it always goes.
Well, it's supposed to
I'm
be.
going to
Who
keep
knows
it
what it
stuck.
becomes, though?
Who called me Peter?
They know too much.
TJ says, tell us about the subscriber that drove out to have me roll his fender. So I had a guy drive all the way from the Bay Area. It was at least an 8-hour drive, so I could roll his fenders, and I shot a video on it and everything. I was like, dang, that's crazy. That's a long drive.
That is.
But it came out sick. Tyler, what's going on?
Greg.
What's up?
Wait, go ahead. I cut you off.
I was gonna say, Tyler, what's going on with the Lamborghini right now? What's next for it?
Nothing. It's been sitting in my garage. I need springs. 18K springs.
You're gonna get just addicted to the Corvette. I see it.
Yeah, I know. I already am.
I saw the exhaust.
Yeah, having power and torque is actually nice. I'm too used to all these Miatas and Hondas and shit.
No torque life.
Let's line up.
Hey, so I saw a good question. What are you guys doing for a living? That's actually a pretty good question. So who wants to start?
What are we doing? What?
I'm a salesman in the IT business.
So I work for my father, so I just do warehouse stuff.
That's tight. I'm a truck dispatcher. I tell
I
the
work at
trucks
Walmart.
where to go and what to do. I heard
Where do
Walmart's
you work, Gabe?
Huh?
You work at Walmart?
Yeah, dude. I'm a sales floor associate. Walmart life, bro.
Oh, okay. All right. I work at my local mall. So, yeah.
Yep.
We make custom shirts there. That's why I get my shirts. That's where I get them.
Oh. That's legit.
Yeah, it's kind of convenient, actually. I make stickers, too. So that's how I got like a couple stickers on my car for my YouTube channel and all. It's pretty cool.
Skycat says, who wants tacos? I, for one, want tacos.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so I have a question for everybody.
What's up?
What is the largest / most ridiculous thing you've ever put in your Miata?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a real good question.
That's
Largest
easy
thing?
for me.
Either the biggest or the funniest thing you've carried in your Miata.
Okay.
Well, I have a
Okay.
story about a friend of mine who took an entire front bumper in his Miata with someone else sitting in the car. So the guy has the bumper in front of his face, driving on the highway with the bumper holding like this.
That's awesome.
Oh, you're saying what we fit in our Miata?
Yeah,
before?
what you've carried
yeah.
inside of it, what you put inside of it.
So, like, a while back, you know those, like, big, like, nitro-powered planes, like, with the 6-foot wings? I had my friend hold it in the passenger seat, and the wings are, like, sticking out the top. And, like, we went to the drive-thru at McDonald's, and, like, they just started laughing their asses off. It was so
Oh
funny.
my god.
It was like the plane was wider than the car. It was funny. That's
Tyler,
probably
what
mine.
about you?
I'm trying to think of what the most I put in my car, or like most ridiculous thing, but I think the last thing was four spare tires and my girlfriend all in the car.
Dude.
That was
How did you
That
manage
was
to do that?
I
Did you call her fat?
It was really low. I did 3 on the trunk, and then I tied them all down to like the harness bar that sits inside the 1.8s, and 1 in the trunk after I took out the spare.
I put a Miata
That
engine
was-
in my car.
Sketchy. A Miata engine.
Yeah, just
On the
the,
passenger,
just the
passenger
long
seat
block.
or
Yeah,
on the back?
I took the seat out, and it was just no head, just the block and the full bottom end. And I was struggling for so long with the hoist to try to get it into the car where I could actually lower it down. I got super frustrated, and I just picked it up and put it in. I was like, oh, it's lighter than I thought.
Oh my god.
Oil all over the car, or was it empty?
Probably. I had a beach towel.
Oh.
Hey, Redneck's here. What's up, Redneck?
Oh, for real?
Nick.
Yeah.
Where?
So he's in the comment section somewhere.
we can
Comment
add him if
something.
he wants.
I talked to him this morning. He said he's down for next time.
Oh, for next time, okay.
Yeah, but Revlimeter's here too. What's up,
Yo,
Adam?
There he is. Redneck, you're wanted here.
Yeah.
I was like, Redneck.
Everybody's freaking out.
Okay, so for everyone watching, if you comment something about Rudnick in the chat, that's 1 vote to get him into the next stream.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep calling him.
All right, RIP chat. Here we go. Bye chat. It's about to melt.
Ginjuan will be here next time. Someone asked.
Yeah, the
Hit
plague.
Autocross.
Yeah, he's at Autocross.
Look at the
Dude, I'm being scammed right now.
Rud.
What the fuck?
Holy.
Dang. Oh my god.
Tyler.
God dang.
When we'll add Rudnick next time, hopefully it won't be this bad.
it
But
will
probably
be.
even worse.
It'll be totally crazy. All right, so that's all right. We gotta get him on next time. I'll drive to Connecticut, set it up.
Alright, so I guess we want to hear some ideas of possible challenge videos or like a group challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So if you guys have any ideas.
anyone
And
in
it shouldn't
chat,
be something who has the fastest Miata because everyone knows who's gonna win.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it shouldn't involve like something that you can do with a lot of money.
Yeah.
Tom's Turbo Garage. That's like one of the first channels I watched whenever I was getting into Miatas. I was like,
Yeah, same
dang,
for
that's
me.
pretty cool. Yeah. His videos are like super professional.
Yeah,
Like,
his videos are gold. He does stuff better than Mazda themselves.
And his filming and editing is really good as well.
Yeah.
yes, it is.
And he's quirky too. I like that.
His garage is freaking awesome.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I'm really jealous of his
Yeah.
garage.
A lift.
Very.
I believe everyone is.
Jalen Patterson, how can I convince my parents to get me a Miata? That's a pretty good question.
Why
Cheap and
won't
economical.
they
Yeah,
let
they're
you
cheap.
get a Miata? Is the
He's on
question.
it.
I know in the U.S., if you have like your provisional license, you can't carry more than one passenger that's under 21 years of age. So the Miata, you only can take one passenger. So like that was a big thing for me, honestly. But
That's true.
yeah.
Tyler, what's next for the Z06?
Cams, which when I take off the heads to do the valve springs, I'm gonna port and polish the heads, and then while that's getting done, tune. So, big step.
Do you have to do the valve spring so it can rev higher, or what's up with those?
Well, no, when you get a cam, you're gonna need to upgrade the valve springs.
Oh, because it's more lift.
Yeah, and so then I'm gonna have to take off the heads, so I might as well do port and polish since that's not too expensive. And then after that, or while that's being done, I'm gonna get it tuned, and so that should be a pretty big leap in power.
Yeah. I wanted a Z06 for so long, and now I can't get one because you have one.
I'm gonna keep it stock.
Yeah, exactly.
Famous last words.
2 days
Okay,
later,
so he
already
said
got stock.
he said his parents won't let him get a Miata because they want him to get something more practical like a truck. That's actually a pretty good argument. If you have to carry stuff, you probably shouldn't get a Miata.
That's true. But if
But
you can make
Miata
it happen.
is always the answer, so he should get a Miata.
You could get like a little tiny trailer and get a hitch receiver and pull a little trailer.
Or just get a roll bar. That too.
tie things to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. His parents say it's too dangerous. A Miata dangerous. Well, Phil,
I don't see how.
No.
Not enough power to do anything.
Exactly.
It handles so good, you can get out of pretty much any bad situation. So, yeah.
As long as you know how it handles that, because some people just don't.
Yeah, if you just got a Miata, do autocrosses. They'll teach you how to handle.
Yeah, actually going
so
out to
good.
events like that makes you know like where your car's limits are. It's actually pretty good.
Yep. And if you mess up, then you hit a cone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could say the argument which Tyler said, that it lacks power, so you can't go really fast.
That's true.
Exactly. It still doesn't mean peel though for 70 horsepower.
It does.
That's true.
Someone's asking about the 300ZX that I have that you see in my Snapchats and stuff. I do still have it. I'll probably work on it eventually. It's been down for a really long time, like 5 years. It was my daily driver. I bought it in 2006, and it got stolen after about 4 years of daily driving. And it got everything stripped from it, the interior, the sound system, the suspension, everything. So I was like, well, I guess now's a good time to twin turbo swap it and put a cage in it, and then pretty much spent all the insurance money on it and didn't finish it, and now it's just kind of sitting. I really like them though a lot. They're just hard to work on, and you have to pay a lot more to get the same level of power, or power to weight, I should say, as a Miata.
We have a different question. Why we got our? Can you guys explain why you got Miatas?
I bought my Miata as a daily driver because my
Hi, Connor of Snapchat. Sorry.
I bought my Miata as a daily because I blew the engine on my second 300ZX. So I was actually shopping for an A86 at the time, and they're pretty expensive and hard to find. And then when I blew the engine on my Z, I needed a daily driver really quick, but I wanted something that was similar to a Corolla, but the Miatas are so easy to find and so much cheaper I just bought one. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna daily it. I'm not gonna mod it. And then I bought coilovers and wheels and a roll bar, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna mod it. And then I found another Miata, which is my current one, and I found it, a few hours away. Picked it up the next day. It was really, really, really clean. And then I swapped over all my mods, sold the old one. I dynoed it. It made 102 horsepower, so I was like, motor seems pretty healthy. I guess I'll budget boost it for like maybe like $1,000 budget boost, and then like $5,000 later, I was like, sick.
Yeah. That's what they say. Always get your budget and times 3. That's
Yeah,
somewhere
exactly.
in the region what it is going to cost.
For any
That's
build.
really good advice, actually.
Not just for turbo builds, but for any car, anything. Because as I was going along and doing more research and buying parts, I learned more and more things about the stuff I want to avoid, and small steps you could take to improve the setup for a little bit more cost, and then you just figure out how to put together a better kit.
Yo, Tyler, what about you? I'm really curious to hear your story.
What was the question? I was lost.
Why,
in my
why you got a Miata?
Why'd you buy Miata?
Well, this was my second or third Miata, and it was just super cheap. I literally got it for $350 with a
Dude.
1.8 swap. Driving, I mean, it didn't have an interior or anything. I didn't know what to do with it, but it was $350. So I was like, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to it, and that's how the whole thing started.
For me, it was cheap and rear-wheel drive. That's like the two main reasons. Because I didn't want to get anything front-wheel drive as my first car. So, yeah. And girls dig them.
Yeah.
The reason why I got my first Miata was probably because the same reason, and after that I want something more practical. Then I bought a Civic Type R EP3, got bored with it, bought a BMW 1 Series, and after my BMW 1 Series I bought a Miata, and I really want to boost it since I bought my first Miata, so this one is going to be boosted, no excuses. But yeah, it's going to cost me a little more than I anticipated.
What
And you,
one
David?
series did you have?
What?
A 128 or a 135?
What?
Your 1 series, did you have a 128 or a 128 or a 135?
No, here in the Netherlands we have all economical cars, so I got the 120D, which is quite fast for the Netherlands.
Turbo
But for
diesel,
America-
right?
Yeah, turbo diesel. It had 163 horsepower, so it was and had 350 newton meters of torque. I don't know how many foot-pounds it is, but it was quite okay. It wasn't really fast, but it did the job.
We don't even
And
have
for you,
those
David?
here.
For me,
Yeah. What is your reason?
well, for me, my buddy always had back when I was looking for cars, he had a SRT4, and I was just mesmerized by the sounds of the turbo. So I was really looking for something like a sedan that was turbo. So I was looking at WRXs and stuff like that, and then every time, and like GLIs, like the Volkswagens, and then every time I told my mom, like, Mom, I want this car, she kept telling me no, it's too expensive. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna look for the cheapest thing that I can have fun with and not care about. So I ended up naturally running into Miatas, and then I went to go test drive a couple. They were all trash. They were all like beat up. And then I finally found the blue one, and I was like, oh my god, this one's it. And I scooped that up for like $2,000, and then just for like a whole year, I was on forums researching turbos because I really wanted to turbo it, and then I made it happen a year later in the summer.
So you bought a a quite decent Miata, and then went on the really cheap on turboing it.
Yeah.
So way
I
super
did.
cheap,
I did.
the cheapest I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's insane.
With the AutoZone boost gauge that plugs into the USB cigarette lighter.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was lighting up, just connecting the wires to the USB. Dude, as cheap as I could do it, like I didn't really care. But anyways, yeah. Once I got rid of that, I was like, well, maybe it's time to do the actual sedan turbo that I wanted to do originally. So I got the WRX, and I guess you're not supposed to buy higher mileage WRXs. I really didn't know that. I didn't do too much research, and the motor blew in like a month. So that was very disappointing. Then I was like, well, you know what? I think the Miata Life is calling me again. So I went back to the Miata Life.
Someone asked, why don't we like NBs? What do we think about NBs? I kind of like them, but they're just, I can get the same performance for less money with an NA. I do like the pop-up lights, though.
My
agree.
my reason was I really like the style of the NA. The pop-up headlights are awesome, and because of regulations in Netherlands, when it's an older car, you do not have a lot of regulations for the exhaust and the CO2 stuff. So you can slap a turbo on it, and when you're getting it MOT'd, it's fine.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I've never liked MBs.
And
I just
hate
don't think they
MCs.
look good.
I hate the MCs. That's like the only generation I absolutely hate.
I would
No,
buy
I
an
like
NC.
the NC or the B.
B.
And
The NCs are even worse, though.
I hate the NC. I like the ND. The
Yeah.
ND looks beautiful now.
Dude, the
But
ND hardtop, though. The ND
Oh,
hardtop.
it looks gorgeous. It has the fastback kind of thing. Like, it looks awesome.
How much
How
do you
much-
pay for insurance
there
and
you go.
taxes in USA?
I pay about $180.
A month?
Yeah,
Ooh.
because I'm
Dang.
17, so
Dang. I pay,
That's
That's a lot.
for both Miatas, I pay about $80 for 2 Miatas.
I pay $180 and I have full insurance on my Z06.
Oh, see, I don't have full coverage.
how old are you, Tyler?
I'm 19. I have 2 accidents on my record, and I have like 3 tickets.
Dude.
There's your problem.
I don't know. It's $180 a month and full insurance on the Z06. I have no idea.
You have no idea what company it is?
No, it's Geico.
Oh.
I have no idea how that happened though, because
Oh, okay.
I only have liability on the Miata though.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's all you need for a Miata.
How much is the
Yeah.
Miata?
I don't know. I don't know what that alone costs, but you get like a discount if you have more than one car on your policy. So.
Yeah, it's same thing in Netherlands.
Yeah, but my motorcycle alone beats that. I think it's like almost $200 a month, and that's just liability.
That's insane. A motorcycle
and
in Netherlands
it's like
is
really
50 bucks.
shitty, really shitty.
Someone said, what do you think would be a good alternative to a Miata?
Hey,
Ooh, that's a
yeah,
good question. There is
I
no
guess it just
alternative.
I guess it just depends on like why you want something else. Is it because you don't have enough space in it, or is it because it's not fast enough?
I would think for the exact same platform, a Honda S2000, because it rear-wheel drive and it's a little bit heavier, but it has more power. But I really
That's true.
don't think there is something exactly like the Miata, because
Yeah, there is.
And if you broke down in your Miata, yes, all the time. All the time. My trunk is filled with tools, so.
yeah, my Miata breaks down a lot as well.
I've actually never broken down, not even when I was turbo.
You're just
like,
lucky.
I only broke down like once.
In the
Adam-
Lamborghini?
Adam,
No, I've never actually been stranded in the Lamborghini. Even after I broke my oil pan, I just limped it home.
Really? How
Yeah,
often do
My
you drive
Miata,
it had good oil pressure the whole way, so I said, "Fuck it." It's not going to fit on on any kind of trailer or anything. So
Adam, if it makes
I've
you
had
feel any better, I'm like 10 years older than all of these guys. Adam says he feels old. Adam from Rev Limiter.
How old's everyone then?
I'm 28.
that's not bad.
And the
What is-
rest?
Tyler, you said you're 20?
I'm 19.
19? Hey, I seen some partying on your snaps. What's up with that?
Oh,
I thought Greg's about to kick you, bro.
What?
you should see the private snap.
Oh.
Oh damn!
Ooh.
You slide to the DM.
It's lit.
Illegal house parties and
Gabe, you said you're 17. I mean, David, you said you're 17. Gabe, you're
I'm 7.
probably.
I'm 17. I'm turning 18 in August.
and I'm 22.
I feel like I need to like go to bed soon or something. It's 11:30 a.m. When's the Denny's early bird special start? Okay, so I saw a question. I think was asking me. 25M said, "Do I regret taking the 2554 off my car and putting on a 2860?" I'm kind of used to it now, but I know if I went back to the 2554, I'd probably like it a lot better. But I still have that turbo, so I can switch back to it. I'm actually going to try a 2560 and see how I like that, and then I'll decide between the three which one I like best.
What is the difference in spool up? How many RPMs is the difference?
It's about, getting to 10 pounds, it's about 800 RPM slower.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah. And, you know, up in the higher RPM, 4,000, 5,000, when you're cruising and you step on it, it is considerably slower transient response. It does take longer to get the boost. But the thing just, it wants to make power. I've done some virtual dynos, and the torque is so much flatter than the 2554 up top. It wants to keep making power. If the motor could rev higher, it would keep making power. So I'm actually
you're going over the 300 real horsepower mark?
Yeah,
very soon?
I'm going to probably head up to the dyno in a couple weeks, and I'm going to try to break 300 wheel horsepower.
On the stock engine.
on the stock motor, yes.
Stock motor.
Yo, Greg, how was filming with TJ?
He's really cool. He's really cool to hang out with. He's a really nice guy. He's a lot of people commented on his video how he kept interrupting me. He's definitely.
I saw that. Yeah.
As far as our personalities together, he's very, very energetic and outgoing, and especially when he's doing the review, because I'm sure all of you know when you make a video, you kind of want to be extra energetic to really portray your energy to the camera. And I'm really quiet and reserved, so us talking to each other, it was kind of a clash, and it seemed like he was, you know, just interrupting me a lot. I didn't, you know, when I was talking to him, I didn't feel like he was being rude or anything. He's just super energetic, and I'm kind of more quiet and reserved, so it's just kind of how it seemed. But he's really cool. He's really nice.
Yeah, he does seem very energetic, but that's probably why he's so famous.
Exactly.
So, he has a great personality.
And Tyler, you refilled your Lamborghini as well.
Yes, he did. He did mine. I told him he should do Greg's too, to kind of offset my car, to show, because he had never driven a Miata before that, and so he was kind of, you know, so he only had this one view of a Miata, and so I figured that he should definitely go for a Greg's and kind of see the other side.
But yeah, that's like you couldn't get more polar opposite than our cars.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's a
completely
good
different
contrast.
And what did he say about your car off camera?
Nothing bad. It's just, I mean, when people see it in person, it's completely different than when people see it online. I mean, a lot of people talk shit, but then in person, people are just like, wow, this is stupid, but it's cool, so.
yeah.
I feel like it's like that for a lot of things online. It's like as soon as you don't have a face, you could say all kinds of stuff that you'd never say in person, and I don't really like that. But that's the internet. Tyler,
I don't know. I feel like I get like some of the most shit, but then like, I mean, some of you guys without intercoolers, I feel like that might kind of get you some shit too.
Yeah, and Chris Rudnick is taking a huge beating for being untuned. Just, like every single video, dude, get tuned, and I think that word
50 pounds of boost.
Yeah, that word gets thrown around so much, like either you have a tune or you have nothing, but there's so much gray area in the middle. Like being boosted is really just about controlling your fuel and controlling your ignition. And as long as you have some sort of control over those things, your car's going to be relatively safe. You know, as long as you're not producing more power than the engine can mechanically handle. But he has the FMU, which controls the fuel, and I don't think he has any ignition control, but the car still seems to be running just fine, so.
Yeah, he seems to be thrashing it, and it runs fine. So
he's doing way more than I would do to a stock motor Miata with no ECU or anything. He's just absolutely ripping it, and it's still running, so.
Yeah, last video, which I just said, was 15 pounds of boost, and it ran fine.
I mean, I was doing pretty much the same thing as him, except with no intercooler and lower boost, and my car ran fine.
Yeah.
I never had any issues with it. No idle issues, nothing like that.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about the stock ECU is when you're out of boost, if you set it up properly, the car runs exactly like stock. Idle cruise, it's just completely like stock. Where when you go to MegaSquirt, I think there are a lot of people that think you, because it's called plug and play, you just plug it in and it's roughly going to run pretty much like stock, and that's not the case at all. As soon as you plug it in, you got to start working on stuff. It's good enough to start the car, maybe cruise it around, but you got to start making adjustments immediately.
Yeah, when I installed the ECU in my car, I immediately need to adjust the idle because it was running terrible on idle. But for the rest, I must say the base map was pretty good.
Yeah, mine too. I actually autocrossed on the base map, except for the fuel map. I made some adjustments on that, but everything else, I autocrossed with it when it was still naturally aspirated. Someone
oh
go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
When was the moment when you decided, well, fuck it, I'm going turbo?
First day you got it.
Yeah, it was
honestly, a lot of YouTubers, like Greg especially, and David, like, they're all huge inspirations. Like, especially when I saw David's video, he's like, yeah, I did this for, like, I forgot how much it was, like $500?
Like
$600? I was like, dude, I could do that. Like, I can do this. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how it was for me. So.
I didn't even find that video until probably 6 months after I got broken boosted, and I was like, oh, sweet, there's another one person trying to just go absolutely super cheap. And I think the more builds we get out there like that, the better it is, because it's not like, oh, it's just a one-off thing. Multiple people are doing it, and a lot of people on, say, MiataTurbo.net is the best example, are like, oh, if you're not going to have 200 plus wheel horsepower, it's not even worth it to turbo. But that's not true at all, because if you can spend $1,000 and you're going to be at 140, 150 wheel horsepower, that's a massive gain over stock. And the car it's a totally different car.
Yeah, I agree. I did the 1.6 to 1.8 swap, which is like a 15 horsepower difference, and the difference was insane. It was so much more fun to drive.
And the torque too. You probably make more power earlier. Yeah. Speaking of that, someone asked earlier, what engine is better to boost, the 1.6 or the 1.8? And that's probably one of the most common questions I get, at least on my channel.
For spool up 1.8.
There's no argument for a 1.6 being better. There just isn't. The only reason most people boost their 1.6s is because they already have a 1.6 Miata, or they got a good deal on one or whatever, and they decide to boost it, because as far as how hard it is to boost either one, it's exactly the same pretty much. And the 1.8 it's going to spool any turbo faster. It's going to make more power per PSI. The 1.8 cars have stronger differentials to begin with, and it's just, as far as strength, they're pretty much equal, but the 1.8 is really a better engine, especially the 99 plus engines.
The 1.6 differential is so weak. I broke two in like 1 or 2 months. On one, the housing snapped, and on the other one, I did a burnout, or at least tried to do a burnout, and one gear completely shattered, and the rest was fucked. It didn't do anything anymore. So now I have a welded 1.8, and since then it's running fine.
I feel like I got lucky with my differential, because I ran the 1.6 differential for months and autocross and drag race with it, and I had 230 wheel horsepower, and I never had any problems with it. But I hear all kinds of stories of, the first week someone boosts their car, they blow up their 1.6 diff. So
yours, Greg? Was yours limited slip?
Yes, it was the limited slip. But as far as I know, they're the same strength. It's the same ring size. They're both 6-inch differentials.
Was they Torsen or a VLSD?
VLSD in the US. The 1.6, the early 1.6 cars only were either open or VLSD.
Okay.
Mine was open. It just spun everything.
Broken boosted has an open differential. 25M was asking about the compression ratio on the 1.6 versus the 1.8, and it's a really small difference. And as long as it's tuned properly, something with a couple decimals lower compression is not really going to make it better for boost per se.
Never seen someone make an auto turbo Miata. Why would you do that?
I don't think the gearbox will hold up.
Yeah,
I've never seen it though.
No, me neither. So does anyone have any more questions?
Yeah, just look at the chat.
Yeah, I've kind of been watching it.
it's hard to catch up and keep reading everything.
How to check Torsen? Take your car to like a piece of road where like there's like dirt on one side and concrete on the other, and then just put one wheel on both sides and floor it. And if both sides spin, then you got an LSD. So there's your answer to that question.
Well, I must say I laid 2 fat black lines on the road with an open diff, so it isn't always that only one tire spins.
Yeah, it is possible. For anyone wondering, the dog just tried to eat the cat. Is she okay? She's fine, the cat?
What are your opinions on V8 Miatas? Well, they sound incredible.
I feel
I
like
wanna
that's
do
way
it
too
one
much
day.
weight on the front.
What did you say, David?
I feel like that's way too much weight on the front if you're trying to keep the handle in.
But if you do something like an LS with an aluminum block, it's really not that much more weight.
No,
Okay, that's true.
I believe it's comparable to the turbo setup when you have the LS engine, because it's quite light.
Yes. Lots of torque.
Yeah, I did notice that all the turbo parts were a lot heavier. Or like, it was a lot heavier than I thought. Like once I received the turbo and the manifold and all that, it was a lot heavier than I
Yeah,
thought.
once you pick it up.
Luca, are you ever coming to the U.S.?
Hopefully.
Good answer.
You better
Then
you
we can
better
do it.
you better
then
come to
can we-
SoCal though.
What? Yeah.
Huh?
Then we could do a big ass meet.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome, dude. I drive up to wherever that was. If
Yeah,
it was
I would
California.
drive my Miata out there wherever.
Yeah, dude. I'll bring 5 quarts of oil and I'll be good.
Yeah.
You might need more than that.
You're right. I'll have to bring my debit card.
Now, when I will go to the USA one time, I definitely will go and meet all of you, and maybe we could do a meet or something.
That
That
sounds
would be so
freaking amazing.
epic. That would be
Yeah.
epic.
Yeah, we should do all Miata YouTubers. We like every Miata Rudnick, and I believe there are a few others, and do a big ass meet. That would be awesome.
That
That
would
would
be
be
cool.
incredible.
But then
Yeah.
I need to ship my Miata to the to the US.
I know we would have to do it in like Kansas or somewhere in the middle of the country, so it's fair for everyone.
Yeah.
With our luck, we'd get kicked out and be like, well,
Someone's
Shit.
Oh, they just shut down our meet.
yeah. There's always that one guy that like starts revving and stuff, and
yeah.
It's gonna be Rudnick turns it into a drift event.
yeah, it's like, yeah.
Kenny, Ken S says, "Why do you guys hate on carburetors?" Tyler, I don't think hates on carburetors.
What? That's all I've dealt with up until the Miatas.
Kenny, why did you sell your 240Z? That's what I want to know. I think you're the one that hates carburetors in the closet.
I've seen some comments about invite higher garage. I don't know, but like I get the whole like mindset that they're very hard to contact, and like I don't know, because like we kind of asked them if they would be interested in this, but like we didn't get any answer.
They have a lot of people following them. They probably get so many messages and emails. Banhammer.
Do you like the Maserati of Roadkill? Yes, freaking cool.
Yeah, I just saw that episode last night too.
Awesome.
I haven't seen that.
Greg, what other project would you recommend to pick up other than a Miata?
Ooh, it depends on the skill level of the person building it and what their end goal is. And their budget. There's so many factors. Something similar to a Miata, probably some sort of Civic if you don't mind a front wheel drive. Very easy to work on and inexpensive parts. Pro Hooning,
Yeah, we have
that's not my mom.
We have a lot of Civic drivers here as well, because parts are dirt cheap and they're quite reliable engines.
Yeah.
Guys, I almost got a Civic before I got this new Miata.
Oh,
It
I
would've been-
almost did it. I
would've been
almost did
solid.
it because I really wanted another like really cheap car just to turbocharge it and probably blow it up. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that to myself.
I got waxed by an Integra probably like a year ago on the freeway. I was just cruising around, and I could hear it was turbo, and I was like, let's see what's up. And I was probably at like 230 wheel horsepower. It was like gone. Like, wow,
Damn.
impressive.
My
know they
Honda was pretty quick.
They can make a good power from those motors. They're really strong.
Well, it's not even that. It's that they're super light. I don't
Yeah.
know that car isn't that light, but I have a CRX and it weighs like 1,600 pounds.
I did notice that when I wasn't rear wheel drive because I had the Subaru, it was a lot less fun.
That's what's really fun about the Miatas is it's so they're so easy to just like flip around. Like you just like you can flick the wheel and it actually does what you want it to.
Just like rainy nights, I can just go into a parking lot. It's so nice.
Yep, I agree.
Someone asked about if I would consider letting Matt from Smoking Tire drive my car. I actually had planned on having him do that, and the one day he was available to do it, I had one of my meets that day, so I was just going to reschedule with him, and a few months went by. When I contacted him again, he said he didn't want to drive it anymore because he already drove my friend Mitch's Mazda Speed. So he's like, that pretty much covers all the turbo Miata genre, so we have too many Miatas on the show. So that's cool. I understand, though. They do have a lot of Miatas. People probably, I'm sure, get sick of them.
Who brings their hairdryer when driving their Miata?
I actually
I
only...
bring a can of hairspray. I'm not even,
Oh my gosh. Do you seriously do that?
I just happen to have it in there sometimes because when I'm really rushing to work, I'm trying to fix my hair. But I'm just adding to the stereotype.
Like in the parking lot, spraying your hair.
Straight up, dude. I'm not even playing.
Luca, I think everyone probably wants to know what hair products you use.
What do you want to know?
Everyone wants to know what hair products you use.
Oh yeah, a lot of them. First, every
All the
morning,
above.
I'm going to make it wet, then get my hair dryer, use some gel, then hairspray, then it's perfect. And when it isn't, I have my cap, so works fine. So I'm also the complete stereotype Mazda Miata driver, using a lot of hair products. But I do have a girlfriend, so that's...
He's defending himself. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm defending myself.
Hairspray doubles as nitrous on MX-5s.
Someone wants
Did any one of you see have any one of you seen Tom's Turbo Garage Project Thunderbolt? Yes, we were just discussing that. It's freaking awesome. Love it.
My opinion of that project is if Mazda were to put an LS into a Miata, they would follow Tom's channel to learn how to do it.
Yeah, and I believe
Guys,
he has a Miata Turbo as well.
Yeah, he used to. He sold it. Sunflower
believe
is
it
what
was-
it's called, the yellow one
Exactly, it was a yellow one.
with the
I got a
screamer
question.
pipe.
What do you guys think of the new Top Gear?
I haven't seen it actually.
I haven't seen it
Have you
either.
seen it?
I haven't seen it.
There's a lot of hate, but I think the hate is only because of everyone is hating on it, and
Yeah. And like
Just
people
watching
don't don't understand that like it was like Clarkson's fault. That like they got like kind of fired, so everyone blames Top Gear. But I don't know if you guys like read the story on that, but it's just like you said, it's like mass hate and it just gets popular.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I saw the second episode, and I'm not hating on them because everybody else is hating on them. I'm just making an observation. I just feel like the personalities don't match very well. And it just looks it just feels awkward to me, at least.
Yeah, I think everyone has an image of how it was, and now everyone wants the exact same thing, but it's going to be a complete different show.
Yeah. I mean, their challenges were still kind of amusing just because they're fun challenges, but I think just their personalities kind of just didn't work too well, in my opinion. But maybe they'll grow together, and it'll be better later.
Yeah.
So I've seen a few questions come through if I'm going to build an engine or not, and what I'm going to do Not if my 1.6 blows up, but when it blows up. I think what I want.
Probably very soon with the new turbo.
Don't jinx it. I think what I want to do is put in an NB engine, a 99 2000 engine stock, and see how I like it. Because honestly, the power level of my Miata right now is very satisfying. It's fast enough, and I think Mazda knows how to build an engine a lot better than I can. So I kind of trust, even putting in a 100,000-mile engine, I'd be totally fine with. And just boost that. It's going to perform better than mine does right now because it's a 1.8 and it's got the BP4W head on it, and I think that's kind of the next logical step, and it's not near as expensive as building a forged engine. A lot of people.
Tyler, is yours a 1.6?
No, mine's a 1.8. Well, the Lamborghini's a 1.8. The other one's a 1.6.
Right.
Would anyone consider a rear-mounted turbo? Never even thought about that.
I think it will be really
No, the only reason you'd ever do that is like they do it in the vets, and that's just because there's not enough room up
Exactly.
front.
Right.
I would not
Yeah,
consider it on a Miata.
and there's one Miata on YouTube which has an LS swap with the rear-mounted turbo. So
Yeah, see, that makes sense though, because there's not enough room in the engine bay.
Yeah.
But it creates a lot of lag too.
Yeah, because it's like a lot more space, all the exhaust to fill.
Some people argue that though. Some people say rear mounted, if it's set up properly, it doesn't lag that much.
Well, yeah, you could do like something like anti-lag or something, and I'm sure it'd work. But
I would say
I think when you have a decent or a small turbo for the vet engine, then it won't be as laggy. But that's only because of the really insane displacement the engine has.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just because of the size of the motor on the vet, I don't think that the rear-mounted turbos would really have too much lag. But that's just because it's a 5.7 liter V8 compared to a 1.8 liter.
Yeah.
I just wonder mostly about the heat from the exhaust. Comparing turbos mounted right on the manifold to a rear mount, how the exhaust is obviously going to be cooler when it gets to the turbos. I'm wondering how that affects the lag. But I have no idea.
It's true.
And what is
Greg,
what's the everyone's mileage on that Miata?
Ooh, good question.
So
200?
mine was, I think mine was like 109 when I got it, and it's like at 1. And I don't even know where it is right now, but it was a lot lower than my old one. I think my old one was like at 120,000, or not a lot lower.
Mine was at 159 when I bought it, and now it's at 214.
Nice.
Yeah, mine was at like 160, and it's probably at 161 now.
I got mine at 132, and now it has 150. So I got it last June. So it's a little over a year. A little over a year ago.
So that's normal mileage, because I believe some of the Hacker Garage crew has them way over 200,000 miles.
Is it every car they have over 200,000?
Probably.
Yeah.
Mine has 200,000, I believe, but I've got a new engine at the 1.8, which is only 80,000, something like that. So it's quite young and low mileage.
Okay.
Didn't we just answer Mohit?
I don't know. Did we?
What's his question?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you asked about the rear-mounted turbo.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes, depending on other people's internet connection, sometimes it lags a lot.
It lags.
5 minutes or more. The one person told me that the lag was 15 minutes. But that's not
16
us.
minutes?
Yeah, that's not us. That's their internet connection. The worse their connection is, the more it lags. The actual lag between the chat and the actual stream is probably only 10 seconds or something. 10 or 20 seconds.
Oh, and everyone should spam this live stream on their YouTube and everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, what was I gonna say? Shoot. Oh, what was my first car? Someone asked. It was a 1988 Dodge Aries, 3-speed automatic, 2.2 liter, blazing speed, 94 brake horsepower, and I wanted a manual transmission. This is a true story. So bad that I duct taped a plunger to the floor. It was a bench seat. It had a bench seat, so there's space on the floor. I duct taped a plunger to the floor, and I stuck a tennis ball on top of it, and I drew the shift pattern, and I learned how to drive the automatic so it felt like a manual, like I'd let off between the shifts, and I'd pretend that it was a manual.
I see a K Miata Turbo.
That would
What
be
are
I say
our
yes.
What are our opinions about the K engine in a Miata?
I love
A
that
gay
swap.
engine?
No, they,
K,
What?
like a
K.
K swap,
Oh,
like a Miata
okay.
K
Honda engine.
on
Okay.
they already have one
Like,
of
what?
those. Um,
Okay. I'm on the same page now.
I like it a lot. You can get turbo Miata power, except naturally aspirated.
Yeah.
I'd
and
do it.
And the Honda engine sounds so incredible. When you have an open intake or a cold air intake, it sounds incredible.
That VTEC crossover.
Yeah, that's insane.
NC engine swap. Why would you take anything from an NC? Like, I don't know. That generation just needs to be set on fire. Like, I hate the NCs. They just scream grandma car. I don't know. I don't like
I
them
think
at all.
they're sick when you put a clean body kit on it and you do some keep it NA but do it just a nice intake and exhaust, and I don't know, I like them. I would buy one. They handle crazy good too. I've been beaten by them with my car at autocross before, and the NCs had maybe exhaust and street tires, and you can stuff 255s under the stock fenders.
Well, Tyler managed to put 335s.
Under
Yeah, but
stock
just under
fenders,
the
I said.
fenders.
Yeah, you did it. Oh no, you took enough defenders, right?
Yeah, no, I took away quite a bit of the fenders. I've holes into my trunk and then through the car.
Is that even legal?
I don't see why not. We don't have camber laws here. The only thing that is illegal is I have to have something covering the tire that's sticking out, so that's illegal. And then I was low enough, like there's actually like you can be too low. Like if your frame is lower than the bottom of your wheel, like the rim of your wheel, then that's legal. But no one's really gonna be like, that's not something that they do. And then even if they did, they give me a fixed ticket, and all I'd have to do is a couple inches, and then whatever.
I think
so
I was gonna say, I think I already asked this, Tyler, but you said you are gonna make more fenders for it. You're gonna make fenders for it again.
Well, I need springs first so that I can set the ride height and make sure I'm not rubbing first.
What stiffness springs are on it now or previously?
Probably like 6K front and 7K rear, or the opposite.
And you said you're going to 16 or 18 or so.
I'm going to 18, yeah.
That should be solid.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hey, Tyler and Greg, I'm seeing a lot of questions about this. I'm curious too, but like, how hard is it to get smog in California, especially in Greg's situation where you have a turbo?
Hold on, I'm answering a question real quick.
I register everything in Illinois.
Oh, okay, so I have a feeling Greg just slipped a $100 bill.
It's more than 100, FYI.
Okay, that answers my question.
No, if you boost a Miata in SoCal, okay, or not SoCal, but California or any I don't know about other smog states, but California, there are a couple different things you can do. Number one, I think Bell Engineering, their basic turbo kit, I believe you can get a carb sticker for it, but you're very limited because it's just like a bunch of Band-Aids, and Bell Engineering, just like half their turbo kit is they go to Home Depot and they put together a bunch of adapters and that's their turbo kit. So I don't really like them that much. But your other option is if you know a guy at a smog shop that will let the car just pass the sniffer and kind of overlook the fact that it's boosted, a lot of people get away with it that way too.
What about for you, Gabe? Did they care that you were turbo when you went and get inspected?
Yeah, dude. Like I took mine in last week, and the guy like looked over it, and like they popped the hood, and like they were smiling and everything, but they didn't say anything about it. And like it was a legit inspection, and it passed emissions. So, but I think honestly, it probably has to do with my restrictive exhaust, because I'm still running like the stock exhaust on it. So it goes from like a 3-inch to 2.5. So like they do a test. Yeah, so as a cat. So they do like a test at 15 miles an hour and 25, and at like even at those speeds, like it's not really pushing any boost. So the FMU isn't forcing any fuel really.
That's true.
So yeah,
that's true.
Passed.
The tests aren't under boost.
Yep.
Yeah,
so, especially with my setup.
Even with a standalone, you can get the car to pass. No problem. As far as just the emissions, just what's coming out of the tailpipe, it's not that difficult to get the car to pass if you have a cat and the car is tuned, decently. The problem is if you get a real stickler that sees that your intake tract is modified and you don't have a carb sticker on it, technically they can instantly fail you no matter how clean the car is, or no matter how clean it burns.
And for the Netherlands, I did a smog test on my Miata, but because of the age of the car, it was running on 3 cylinders, had a leaking head gasket, and it passed.
Wow.
Yeah, when I had my 1.6, they didn't care at all. Like they just walked up to it, looked at it a little bit, and then passed it.
If they made you fix it, would you have to just open the wastegate and swap injectors or plug the old ECU in? It gets a little bit tricky if you're running MegaSquirt, because then you have to like retune it, right, Greg?
Okay, so if you're on MegaSquirt and you're trying to revert it to stock, if you just swap your injectors back to stock, put the MAF or the AFM back in, put the stock ECU back in, so it's like stock, you can bring it small and get whatever. When you put everything back in, your tune is still in the MegaSquirt, so it should go back to completely how it was.
It's true.
So yeah.
You just need to upload a base map.
Yeah,
and take off the turbo.
Every time you plug your laptop into MegaSquirt and you make adjustments, it auto saves the tune on your laptop also.
Okay.
Tim,
what's my channel? They ask. Well, Luca Carmot.
Everyone's channel is in the description. Anyone that's asking.
Oh, what's up, Colt? I see you, man.
Rear suspension on a Miata, independent or solid rear axle? Well, it's independent. Easy question.
And I think it's double wishbone. Is that correct? The correct term for it?
I believe it's McPherson in the rear.
McPherson uses the struts to control camber though, so I don't think it's McPherson. That's like a 240SX front suspension is McPherson.
Do you guys know anything about running MegaSquirt and stock ECU at the same time, since the MS apparently can't control automatic transmission? I know you can run them in parallel, but like I built a MegaSquirt, didn't really work that well. But I think Greg can probably shed more light on that. Can you?
I was gonna say I don't really know anything about automatics.
Yeah, I know like a lot of people run MegaSquirt, like at least the older ones, and the ECU parallel, but honestly it's not really worth it, especially with the newer ones. But
and on the Miatas, almost every system has its own ECU, because of the airbag has its own ECU, the cruise control has its own ECU, so probably the automatic has its own ECU as well, and you can probably run only the MegaSquirt ECU.
What are the best mods to improve a Miata? What it has to keep it naturally aspirated?
Camber.
I would definitely say coils and wheels.
Roll bar.
Tires. Don't forget tires.
Yeah, tires, exactly.
A lot of people complain about the stock brakes, and then when I ask, well, what pads are you running? And they say, the pads that the car came with, I don't know what they are. Start there.
Yeah, and if you want to be handling better, well, the coils and tires will be the first thing, and then it handles insane.
Yes, big difference. Big difference.
The best mod you can do to your Miata is a driver upgrade.
Yeah,
Drive mod.
yeah, exactly. I would say it's free, but it's really not because track events are expensive. Let's see. Someone asked, what do you think about welding differentials? I know Luca's diff is welded. I'm not sure about anyone else's.
Well, my experience with it was the first time I drove it, it was really annoying. But after like 2 days, you get used to it, and you don't even notice it that much. But when you want to go sideways, it's so easy. And when I compare it to an open diff, when you go driving very spirited with an open diff, I think it's quite dangerous on the edge because when it's wet, sometimes it snaps and sometimes it doesn't. And with the welded diff, it's always the exact same thing, and you
Very
can
consistent.
correct it quite easy.
Oh, I like that. I never heard it that way before. I am planning on getting the diff welded on broken boosted and taking it drifting. A bunch of people are asking me if I ever drift. I've never taken a Miata drifting before. I did a few events with my 300ZX drift events, but I've never taken a Miata. So that's going to be my first thing. Is I'm going to have the diff welded on broken boosted and take it drifting.
My experience with drifting my car just the other day at Mineral Wells, very easy, because I know I had my open diff on my old turbo Miata, and I could not drift that at all. Like, I could do some short drifts, but I couldn't like hold long donuts. But with the limited slip and even naturally aspirated, you can just handle it really easily. It's very simple.
Someone asked, is a Torsen swap worth it if they have an open diff? 100% worth it. I've driven.
It is a different world.
I've driven an open diff. I've had one car with an open diff, 2 cars with a VLSD, and 1 car with a Torsen, all Miatas. And the Torsen is a really good differential, especially for grip style racing. A lot of people drift with them. I think they're the best for grip racing. I think a clutch type is probably better for drifting. But yeah, it's worth the upgrade. And there are no drawbacks to the Torsen. When you drive an open diff car against a Torsen car, you cannot tell the difference when you're just normally driving around.
No, the only difference, to my opinion, is when you're driving on the edge and it's wet. I had the problem that with my open diff, sometimes it just had grip, and all of a sudden you lose grip. And when you have a well diff or an LSD, it's always the same. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot safer when you're driving really sporty when it's wet outside.
Someone asked, is it worth it to get MegaSquirt on a full bolt-on 1.6? In my experience, MegaSquirt is one of the best modifications you can put onto a stock engine as long as you can get it tuned. If you just swap over to it and think you're going to get a bunch of power, that's not really how it works. But if you can put it on the car and actually get it tuned for what it has, you'll get more power just from tuning the fuel alone, even if you don't mess with the ignition. So, in my opinion, yes, it's worth it.
Yeah, and I have the ME221 on my car, and even only the launch control and anti-lag is so much fun. So I would say, yeah, it's definitely worth it.
What do you think about? I don't know if you've ever used MegaSquirt before, but how do you like the ME221?
Well, I must say the product is probably the same, but yeah, I've read about the MegaSquirt that it isn't always plug and play because some people make them themselves, and this is really all made by machines. And the best thing about it is the service, because I had some issues a few weeks ago with the injectors not working, which I told you, and I sent a message on Facebook, and he immediately called me and took a look with TeamViewer on my laptop and fixed the problem. It was probably something in the wiring, and further than that, the software is really easy to use. So if you're living in Europe, it's definitely something I would consider over a MegaSquirt, because there aren't as many vendors here. So that's my opinion about it.
And I've heard a lot of stories about MegaSquirt not having good customer support at all. That's one.
Yeah, that's one of the main reasons.
They're difficult to contact, and I've heard from a few different people that they go straight to the fact that the user is the problem, not the MegaSquirt, and it's not always true.
Yeah, exactly. And I called the owner of the multiple electronics ECU, and they said we have never had any of the ECUs come back for a fault or something like that. So all of the ECUs they made, yeah, they're fine.
That's good.
And price-wise, they are a little bit cheaper than the MegaSquirt.
Cheaper is always better. I want to know.
Yeah.
I want to know what the story is with Flying Miata only carrying. Shoot, I'm drawing a blank. What do they carry? What's their ECU? Hydra.
Hydra, yeah, quite expensive system.
My girlfriend knew that and I didn't. What the heck?
But Fly Miata, yeah, I think their parts are great, but probably due to their name, they are so expensive. Really, like everything they make is expensive. It looks really good, but it's so expensive.
I'm sure they have more features and stuff, but for 99% of users that are especially boosting their own Miatas, I'm sure they don't need that stuff.
No. That's the same thing like in Australia. I believe everyone is using the AEM or yeah, there's one ECU in Australia which everyone uses, and it's insanely expensive. It's like $2,000 or something like that.
Yeah, really expensive. You can get a pre-built MegaSquirt for about $850 with the AIT kit and the serial USB adapter, or you can even build it yourself for probably. I think you can build MS3 for about $500 or $550 if you're good with.
Yeah, but
soldering.
then I wouldn't let Gabe install it or make it.
Wait, what?
I heard something about your ECU not completely working.
All right. Let's back up a second. So I went the do it yourself route, right? And first off, let me say the tutorials are like out of date. So, but I did make it, and it did turn on, and like I could load all the base maps on it and everything. But where I messed up was the harness, and I didn't realize it till like a month later. But the whole harness was like flipped. So that was one thing wrong with it. And I finally got the harness right, and then I went to go start it, and I had the spark settings wrong, so I ended up frying my coil pack, which is $250. So at that point, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go the Bandaid route. So I sold it on eBay, and I spent $120 on an FMU and a spark timing retarder, and yeah, now it's boosted. So
Perfect.
And it still runs fine, except from the turbo.
It runs great. The only thing it needs is a O2 clamp. So yeah, that's the only thing it needs. Because it's like nitrous. Whenever boost comes on, it doesn't drive like in that sense. The drivability isn't very good. It's just like David's setup. So Dave knows exactly what I'm talking about.
A question for Tyler: how is Spark and Scrape going?
I haven't driven that car for so long. I don't even know. And it's raised right now. Like it's not even that low right now. And it's not going to be anymore. But it's gonna fit what like my vision. It doesn't need to be low, and you guys will see. Not really giving too many details out, but.
And how does your bottom of the car looks like? Because when TJ was reviewing it, I saw some rocks flying from the road because it frame banked the entire time.
Pelted with rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my the rear subframe brace thing is like dragging. It's only held on by like half a sheared off bolt. The rest of it, I think I might have ripped it off. I'm not sure yet. But then I think I broke, or actually like I think I broke a brake line because my brakes don't really work anymore after his review. And then the oil pan lasted for quite a while. I did break one, but after I raised it, it's fine now. I doubt I'll ever break another oil pan. But yeah, I mean, it's not that bad.
So it's kind of drivable.
Well, it was. It really wasn't that bad. As long as your engine is raised and you have something or you at least monitor your rear diff bolts, because those get scraped off. And then you can also break your the rear diff itself. Like you can, I know scraping Miata, he had his reinforced. But yeah, as long as you monitor the rear end bolts and you raise your engine, you have nothing to worry about.
And how did you raise the engine? Just put some extra plates between the mounts?
So I was going to make my own engine mounts, but I only ended up making one because in the driver's side there's 2 bolts. I just put the stock motor mount into the upper bolt and then just made my own motor mount for the passenger side, which consisted of a long ass grade 8 bolt and probably like 50 washers.
Oh my god.
That's fucking ghetto.
straight out of Haggard Garage.
Yeah,
Straight up Haggard. No, dude, I'll tell you about my when I first turbocharged my 1.6 2 times because I really messed it up the first time. The first time, first of all, I did the oil return at the bottom of the pan, like at the very bottom, because it was the only place I could reach without having like pull the motor or something, or I couldn't reach my tools anywhere in like inside the engine bay, so I had to go from beneath. So I was like, all right, screw it, we're just gonna go against what everybody says, and we're gonna go from beneath the oil pan. So we drilled it at the bottom of the oil pan at the corner, and we put the fitting on it, we tapped it, we screwed it in, and did that. And then this is even worse. We went for my intake piping. I couldn't find anything really that would fit, so I went to Home Depot, and instead of plastic stuff doesn't hold up to heat. Like, that's just the bottom line. I did PVC pipes, and then I fitted them all and grabbed all the sizes that would fit. Because, like, for toilets, they have, like, those P shapes, and I needed that P shape. So I grabbed it, and then I used, like, that PVC cement and got it all fitted right. And everything fit, but just, like, once I clamped it all down and once the car warmed up and it heated up and I was driving it, the PVC just melts. It just sinks down, and it leaks everything. It doesn't make any boost.
I have toilet parts on my car too.
You have what?
Toilet parts on my car too.
Toilet parts?
Toilet parts for the win. I have something called the ball cock shank washer on my shifter.
Oh my god.
Well, I have a funny story about my chassis. I welded the chassis with some food trays. I went to a local store and I didn't got any metal at the hardware store, so I bought a metal food tray, cut it out, and welded it on the bottom. So worked perfect. Where's Ginger?
Bree, people are asking BMW questions. You should come answer one.
Get rid of mass airflow. Well, you can get an aftermarket ECU and an inlet air temperature sensor. And the other way, Greg, do you know?
What's the question?
How do you get rid of your mass airflow sensor? I already said that you can get an ECU and inlet air temperature sensor. And what's the other option?
The only other option I know that is quite complicated. I honestly don't even remember how to do it. Some guy hit me up and he's like, "Hey, I think I can delete the mass airflow sensor by doing this crazy complicated wiring process." And I was like, "I've never heard of it, but you might be able to." So I know it's possible.
So
but
very
you'll
complicated, or you get a different ECU.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you have, I don't know about the MAF. I know the MAF of the 1.8s is not as restrictive as the AFM on the 1.6s, but you can upgrade to an RX-7 AFM. I forget if it's plug and play, but I know it's not that hard to hook up, and they're a lot bigger, so they flow a lot more air. So that's another option. Are you coming back? No. Oh, why? Yeah, I have a question for you. It was a previous one. All right, well, whenever you're ready. Someone asked, should I get an E36 M3 or an E46 M3? And my girlfriend is a better opinion on those than I do. I like the E46 M3, but it's expensive.
Oh, okay.
Okay, she's coming back to answer whoever asked about E36 versus E46.
Maybe she should stay and as we get more views.
Yeah, we're gonna go over 200 now.
You should get a 335.
So she said get
No.
a 335 over. No, I would take a 335 over either of those M3s.
What? Why?
Well, do you want to go fast or not?
You pay a lot of the
I
premium
mean,
for the
I
M.
want a good car from the factory. Like, I don't want to have to upgrade it.
Well, first of
Like,
all,
you know the suspension in the M3 is gonna be better.
First of all, the 335s. Well, 335 is more modern, so it probably has better suspension, anyways. But that's beside the point. They already almost have as much horsepower, and you just throw a JB4 tuner on it, and they're boss. They're 400 horsepower. Done deal.
I like the inline six aspirated, naturally aspirated sound of the E36 and E46 M4, and the 335i is, I believe, twin turbo.
Uh-huh. Some are single, some are twin. I agree with you. Some people want the naturally aspirated sound and feeling.
If you can do the maintenance on the S54, the valve adjust every other oil change or every oil change, then I would say get one. But if you can't keep it up, then don't let it go to shit.
Luca, do you have the what are they called? The good E36 M3 where you live? The higher horsepower, the 300 plus horsepower one?
Yeah, the 321 horsepower edition. You have them here. You have both. I believe the 280 and the 320 edition. I live next to Germany, so you can get all of the factory cars here.
Yeah. So for the E36s, the fastest one we ever got was the 240 horsepower one.
That's not much.
Yeah.
Here I believe I checked it like last week, and I believe there was some version over 300 horsepower from the E36.
Yeah. That would be a cool car to have. That's and the only way to get that here is if you swap in the E46 engine.
Yeah, and I really like the sound because I often go to the Nürburgring in Germany, and there are a lot of M3s there, and the sound is so awesome from the naturally aspirated engines.
Yeah.
The downside to the E36 M3 is that it doesn't have like the fender flares that they introduced with the E46, so it looks pretty close to a 328.
Like a basic, 328. That is
I would say as a daily probably the 335, and as a weekend car the M3.
For those sounds, huh? The high revs and the good sounds.
Yeah.
I've ridden a 335i. That thing is quick.
They're fast. Even right out of the box, they're fast.
Fast.
300 pound-feet of torque at 1,300 RPM. That's like right off idle.
And you can map the engine, at least in the Netherlands, stock they have, I believe, 320 horsepower, and you can map them only with a map to 400 horsepower.
Yeah, you just plug it in. It's like you just plug a chip into it and press a button, and you're like, oh, that's 400 horsepower.
Yeah.
My friend has one, but like it breaks like a lot. Very high maintenance.
The 335?
Yeah, 335i. Yeah.
What year is it?
It is a 2000. I want to say 8.
Okay, so
something like that.
The pre-facelift.
Tyler, do you know Chandri Bryce?
No, who's that?
She says she's going to troll you, and she's asking for you the entire time in the chat.
I know, he's been trying to get me to laugh for some reason.
Has anyone here crashed?
Yep.
Yeah, my
Twice.
camera, my camera.
Quite a few times.
Oh, I thought they were talking about
I've crashed my 1.6 twice. One time I got hit, but the other time I spun, and it's actually on YouTube. I happen to have been recording it because I was trying to do a pull so I could hear the turbo and post that, but I was in third gear and I was on a service road and it was wet and rainy and it was dark. And I put my foot down, and then it went into boost, and it just lost its end immediately, and it just spun around, and then ended up in the lawn of a dealership. And then there was some dude there. Who was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And I got back in my car, just turned it on, and I drove off the lawn, and I left the message.
That's awkward.
I spun
drove
my. Oh, go ahead, Luca.
I drove my first Miata in a pond.
Oh my
Pond.
God.
Story time.
In the water. It was when I took it, or when the company took it out of the pond. There were some fish in it. So that was quite epic.
That's funny.
I've actually never wrecked.
Never?
Nope. I've got hit, but that wasn't my Miata. I got hit one time. Wasn't my
Oh,
fault.
me too. Yeah.
But never wrecked. No.
I've never crashed a Miata. I did spin out my 300ZX, getting a little overconfident, trying to slide a freeway interchange. I came onto the interchange in second gear, kicked the clutch, kick it out. Everything was going good, right? And then it just kept going. It just spun all the way around over this curb, took one of the beads off of one of the tires, and got stuck in the ice plant, and I couldn't get out. And I just was sitting there. It was raining. I was with my friend, and then the California Highway Patrol showed up, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm probably gonna get my car taken away." He shows up, and the first thing he says is, "Hey, I spun my squad car out here 3 months ago."
Personal connection. That's funny.
And Tyler, you crashed some cars?
Yeah, I crashed my the first car I crashed was my 944 Turbo. It's just coming off of a roundabout, and I merged into another person, and they pit maneuvered me, and I went up a curb, and yeah, I ended up selling that, and I bought my first Miata after that. And then after that, like 2 years down the road, I crashed my CRX. I went down in between two cars because someone pulled out in front of the person in front of me, and I was going a little quick. I left about 90 feet of skid marks.
A little quick.
on a 25-mile-an-hour road.
How fast are you going?
I don't know. I don't have a speedometer.
How many cars have you had, Tyler? Have you lost count?
Shit, I don't know. Over
10,
20.
you think? 20? Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And how old were you?
When I crashed or now?
No, you were not 19 and had 20 cars.
Yeah.
So you do
When did you start?
Yeah.
I had my first car when I was 14, but it was a kit car that my dad got me in, so I built that and then sold it, and then shortly after, I think it was maybe either freshman or sophomore year of high school, I got a Camaro from my neighbor. I bought it from him, and then I fully restored that, and so that was fun. But I always went in between like older trucks, and I had like a Jeep and stuff, and I always kind of had like two different cars. I had like my project car, and then I had kind of like my mess around cars.
I want to get my girlfriend has a V6, or her dad has a V6 Mustang, and it's kind of like beat up a lot, so I want to take it from him. He said he'll give it to me for $400. It starts and runs, so I just want to weld the diff and then just turn it into a drift missile.
Solid.
How old are all of you guys? We already answered this, but
22.
19.
I'm 20.
how do you do that? Like you made that sound before you talk? How do you do that?
I think someone's getting text messages.
Oh,
that's
okay.
me. Sorry.
I was really confused.
I'm 28. I smoke all you guys, so.
Yeah, I'm
Oh yeah.
Where's Broken Boost been hiding? Well, you drove it today, didn't you? Or yesterday?
I did drive it yesterday. I was doing the video for DIY boost controller.
What's the fastest you have ever been? Or what's the fastest you've ever gone?
I've done 139
Or
on my
just-
GPS.
In general.
Like 150, 160.
Oh,
What car?
Well, on my bike, like 160, and then 150 in a Mustang GT.
I've done about 88 miles an hour in my Miata. So
did you go to the future?
yeah, it's that slow.
For me, it was 175 in my,
Oh.
my Honda CBR. No, not
Oh my
Miata.
Dang.
I did 120 in my Miata. That was very scary.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It takes so long to get to 120.
It takes very
Yeah,
long.
downhill with
Yeah.
a tailwind.
Yeah.
It took very long. I'm pretty sure it was topped out because it wasn't really going any higher. But I also didn't want to keep my foot down much longer.
I have to be
Diego
careful.
Reyes,
What's that?
What's up?
how do you know if your engine might be burning oil? Well, you check your dipstick.
Yeah, that's pretty simple.
Short throw dipstick.
That question.
Your short throw dipstick.
If it's not leaking and you're losing oil, it's probably burning it.
And most Miatas are, so probably burning oil.
Yeah, it's pretty normal. The most important thing is just making sure it's topped off.
Dude, at one point, my Miata would go through a quart of oil every 100 miles. It's bad.
That's a lot.
Eating it or dripping it out?
Both. Both.
Well, I had an Alpha B as my first car, and I never did an oil change on the car because it changed itself. Because I only threw new oil in it, and every time when I put new fuel in it, I will need to fill it up with around a liter or something like that.
You know, it's bad when you have to fill up on oil more than you have to fill up on gas. So.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
that's true.
This is my girlfriend Bree, everyone that's watching. If you have any BMW questions, she is a BMW expert.
Hi, Bree.
Does she have a YouTube channel?
No YouTube channel. I'm trying to convince her to make one.
Is it going to be the BMW Passion channel? That's pretty good.
I've moved on to fixing houses. I worked on cars for 4 years, so I'm taking a little break.
She's pretty
Do you
much
have
old. What? Go
Do you
ahead.
have a mechanic degree or just for fun?
I spent 2 years as an apprentice just helping clean up the shop and do oil changes, and then kind of like a year and a half of being a straight up like line technician. I bought $10,000 worth of tools, and then I decided it's too strenuous, and when you come home and you just want to go to sleep, it sucks.
So now you're just doing it for the fun.
Yeah, I work at a BMW dealership in the parts department. So.
Okay.
Someone's asking.
Greg, question
Yeah.
for you. And this is the Haltech issue which I was talking about in Australia. From Alexander Cornelissen.
Is asking why did I choose MegaSquirt? Do I have any experience? I only have experience with MegaSquirt, and I chose it because it has the most people running it, at least in the US, which means the most people have knowledge about it and support. Not from MegaSquirt themselves, but from all the people that are running it, especially with the Turbo Miata scene. I know that in the UK, I know the ME221 is getting more popular, and in Australia, at least, I know the Haltech is very, very popular, and I'm sure they're both really good, but I just kind of went with what was the most popular. Figured I couldn't go wrong that way. Someone asked, how do you feel about the BMW Z3 versus Miata argument? What do you think about that?
I love Z3s. I don't know much about
I like
them,
the
but
clown
think-
shoes.
Yeah.
The clown
They
shoes
look pretty
cool.
good.
I was looking at them,
Here-
but I
here
didn't
they're
want to get
more
one
rares.
because I feel like BMW parts are going to be more expensive. So.
Yeah, I hate
Yeah.
BMWs, so I'd never get a BMW.
Missing out.
The handling's pretty equal though, so if you're not gonna try to turbo it, you'd pretty much be fine.
I'd say the Z3 probably the handling probably equals out as the track gets bigger.
Yeah, but if you get the M, you're already starting out with so much more horsepower than the Miata.
Yeah.
True.
A lot of cars have more horsepower than the Miata, though.
Almost every car in
Yeah,
America.
pretty much anything. Pretty much anything on the street.
Do you start to have a lot more economic cars in the US? Because my company car is a 1 liter 3-cylinder car with 58 horsepower, so it isn't really fast.
Jesus.
I think we are seeing a shift more in the last couple years than previous for sure, because we just started getting the BMW 320s. And that might be a shift on just BMW's part in general, the 328s even being 4 cylinders too. But I feel like we are getting more economic and more diesels available, which I'm super stoked on. Before, a few years ago, you could only get either a TDI, or I was super stoked when the BMW 335D came out. I was really amped on that. But then I see video like on a lot of Top Gear things, they have so many diesels available, even just for economic reasons, not even powerful ones like Polo diesels and stuff like that. I wish we had more here.
Yeah, they are really popular here, the diesel cars. And it's funny what you're saying, that the 320i is a downgrade, because here in Netherlands, the 320i and the Europe are the fast ones, because you have the 316i and the 318i,
Yeah,
which are slow.
We don't have anything below the 320 still.
Well, that's top of the line here, and in the US, it's the most slow car.
Even so, when the 320 came out in 2014 or something.
Yeah, around then.
So 2013, the slowest one was the 328i with the natural aspirated inline 6. That was the slowest one you could buy.
That's awesome. I wish we had that here. Everyone drives boring and slow cars.
I've been looking for the 118D with the hatchback, the 1 Series. I would drive one of those even though it's slower.
Yeah, to import one.
Yeah, you have the newest 1 Series. You have the 114i here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it diesel or gasoline?
What?
Is it diesel or gasoline?
I believe you have them in both.
Okay. Wow. That's cool.
And yeah, and I believe it has like 106 horsepower for a BMW. So that's quite slow.
Let's get some ideas for a challenge video, guys.
Good idea.
Yeah, anyone watching?
Well, we already know me and Greg are racing.
Oh, that's true.
My Miata versus the Z06. That has to go down for sure. We'll have to put that in a video.
No, I had several people contact me even through the stream on Snapchat saying for us to race.
Really?
And on Instagram. So
that's
definitely got to happen.
That's hilarious.
Bring your webcams out and go drag race them right now.
I'll try to let's periscope it. What was I gonna say? I'm genuinely interested to see how it turns out, because I raced when I was at about 230 horsepower. I raced a base model C6, and we were pretty even. So I'm interested to see with my increased power now and against the Z06 how it would be. I think it's gonna be really close.
Yeah, but the Z06 or the base model C6 makes like 400.
Oh no, sorry, base model C5 is what I meant.
Okay, see that's 345.
Yeah. That video actually made it on Top Miata 2 times. Because there was like, there was like 5 Miatas in the video. They were just flying everywhere, and then the Corvette and I were lined up in the middle. It's hilarious. He was being a dick though. He was cutting everyone off and just being crazy. I'm like, all right, I need to settle this.
Yeah, just a normal Corvette owner.
Smelly always says, what's everyone's power level at? I think broken boosted is probably, and now that I fix all the boost leaks, it's probably between 120 and 130 wheel horsepower. And my other car made 276 on a dyno jet. I think Gabe and David are probably in the same ballpark as broken boosted or so.
David doesn't have his boost anymore, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that turbo 1.6 anymore, but I'm thinking it was like around 120, 130. But my current one's probably like 110.
And mine is the 1.8 swap, so stock power 130 horsepower on the engine, and wheel horsepower probably 105 or 110.
So that's a 94 to 97 1.8 swap?
Yeah, the first generation 1.8.
Okay.
I'm not the 1.8 swap from the NB was a lot harder because I didn't use any kits from Fly Miata. I did everything myself, and so that was really easy to do on the first generation 1.8.
Someone asked where the dog's at, and she's too low to see though. Ellie. Come here.
Are manual cars really that rare in the United States? They're kind of hard to find sometimes,
Honestly,
but I would call them rare. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
they're not so hard. They're rare, but
Say hi.
They're more rare. Like, I know that
They're-
Corvettes are super rare. It's just because Americans are lazy.
it depends on the car. That's really what it is. Like,
that too.
And are the automatics cheaper in the US or the manuals?
ooh, it really depends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it depends a lot on the car, and I don't know. I believe typically automatics are a more expensive factory option, but
Yeah, they are.
in the aftermarket, it seems they go back and forth because everyone wants the manuals because they are more rare, so they'll typically pay more for them.
Yeah, especially for the cars that are oriented more for like performance people.
Yeah.
And when you get a new from the dealer, Bree will probably know this question.
Oh, you mean what are more common?
For BMWs.
No, which are more expensive when you buy a brand new
Oh.
BMW, the manual or the auto?
The manual is still cheaper if you can get it.
If you can find it.
It's
Yeah.
usually only like a $500 difference, unless you're going with an M car that has DCT, and then you're gonna pay
Yeah.
like maybe at least $1,000 more. But in our country, only probably less than 5% of the new BMWs are actually manual.
Yeah, almost the
Yeah.
entire dealer lot are automatics.
I
Even
was
the
really
fast
looking
ones.
to get. And, oh, I'm sorry, you were saying?
I was just saying the entire lot pretty much is automatics. Even the a lot of the performance ones, the 335s, are all automatics.
I was looking for a Lexus IS300 is what I really wanted before my Subaru, and I could not find a manual one, not within like a couple thousand miles.
They're hard to find. My friend my friend shopped for a I'm getting a bunch of feedback from someone. My friend was shopping for an SC300 for a long time, and those are really hard to find in manual. He had to wait quite a while to find one in a manual. The Lexus Lexus SC300.
Greg, what's up with your webcam?
Is it messed up? What's going on?
It's black.
It's like you put your finger over it or something.
Oh, that's from when I put my
Yeah.
my other webcam is goes on top of my laptop. So all of you four, I'm using my laptop webcam, but everyone watching the stream can see my high def webcam. I have to remember to not block the other one. Someone asked if I'm sponsored. Not really. Sometimes I'll get a discount on parts to do an install video or something like that, but I don't have like anyone just shipping me a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I believe you have to have a lot of subscribers because TJ Hunt has now 300,000 subscribers, and
he's able to get some stuff.
until now,
yeah.
he's in his last video he said he was sponsored. So you really need a lot of subscribers.
Yeah.
It's not that you need a lot of subscribers. It's just that it's whether or not you want to take up the sponsorship opportunities. Like, I've been offered stuff, but it was nothing that I wanted. It was, stuff that I planned to make myself anyways. And so I'm not going to, commit to a company that not only do I not really know their products, but it's just, I was offered partial sponsorships. Like, when I was looking at wheels, I got a partial sponsorship by AG Wheels, which is a very expensive wheel company. It was just, I couldn't even afford the discounted price, and it was more than it was ridiculous. Honestly, I'm not supposed to discuss it, but it was insane. It was more than what I bought and built my wheels and got tires for my current wheels
Dang,
for.
That's crazy.
Just for the.
Yeah, you make a good point about not wanting to run what a sponsor offers you. I feel like so many people really just go after sponsorships and just will take whatever they can get for free. And for me, the only stuff I've ever done install videos on, even if I got it for free or got a discount on it, I was planning on putting that on my car anyways. So it's not like a company contacted me and said, hey, if you say a bunch of good stuff about our part, we'll give it to you for free. And I don't ever want to do that because I'm not building a car, just to get free stuff. I'm building the car the way I want to build it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I got offered like 40% off by Raceland if I made videos, but I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm gonna buy this because it's cheap, but I'm not gonna like say your product's better than it really is because Raceland fucking sucks.
That's what I have
I agree.
on. That's what I have on Broken Boosted is the Raceland, the cheapest ones, and
Oh, that's even worse.
they're pretty much good for one thing, and that's making the car sit lower. That's it.
I mean, if that's all you care about, which is pretty much all I care about, I mean, it's good, but
Yeah, I feel the same thing, same way about the sponsorships. Some products, yeah, I think they're shit and I don't do it. But if it will be a fun video, or if I really need it, and you can get a discount, and you will would have chosen a product when they didn't sponsor you, then I think it's a good choice. But yeah, I'm not going to say this product is great when you buy Racelands or something like that.
Luca, do you still open beer with your fender? Someone just asked.
I saw that.
Yeah, I thought, well, I need to open it, and yeah, I got creative, so why not?
Actually, a really good idea.
Yeah, it worked perfect, and I'm going to respray my car anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
How about really quick thoughts on eBay turbo kits? This comes up a lot.
Yeah, everyone says there or writes down universal turbo kit fits perfect, but they really are universal, and you need to do a lot of things to make them fit.
And honestly, if you're not really familiar with all the necessary parts that go into a turbo kit, you're making it worse for yourself by buying one of those kits, because the only way you can even get half of an eBay turbo kit to work is by really analyzing what it comes with and what you need to add to it and what you can't use that it has in it. And excuse me, some of the kits come with just ridiculous things like voltage regulators, whatever the heck those things are like totally unnecessary. Like a fuel pressure regulator, I would never trust a fuel pressure regulator from eBay. Ignition boxes and things like that you just can't. I mean, it's $500 for an entire kit. How can you even? It's a lot of the stuff you just can't trust in those kits. Like an oil cooler, you don't need. A lot. I feel like
if you're trying. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I feel like if you're trying to get an eBay kit off of eBay, you probably don't know enough, and it's going to be a real pain, especially because the kits don't fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Like for me, although I did get a lot of my parts off eBay, I did my research and I was looking for parts that I was going to need for sure. And then I was looking for parts that I thought were okay quality looking. Because I mean, I do use eBay, but I try not to go for the like very absolute cheapest thing I can get. Like I still kind of look for like decent quality. I mean, that's kind of like stupid to say on eBay, but like there's ways to like not get the cheapest possible.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. And knowing what parts you can cheap out on and what you can. Like if it's an essential part of the car that if it fails, it's going to cause a major problem. It's not a good idea to use the cheapest one, like a fuel management unit. I would not recommend that to anyone, because something, some diaphragm or something bursts inside the thing and you lose all your fuel pressure in boost. That could be a serious problem.
Yeah, and most of the eBay turbo kits which I've seen are pretty expensive, between $600 and $1,000, and you need to buy a lot of parts before it actually works. So you can better part everything together with decent parts, and it will be probably the same price.
And
I didn't realize how much it adds up whenever like your turbo kit starts breaking, because like none of my kit is eBay, it's just like used stuff. But the price like adds up so quick as just little stuff breaks. Like I didn't realize how expensive it gets.
That's true. Like all the little things to get my turbo running when I had it, just like all the trips to O'Reilly, that added up so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like little clamps, like everything. Yeah. Like it all adds up.
It all costs more at O'Reilly too. Like it's cheaper online, but you don't want to wait.
And what I was gonna add to that is I think some people probably want to go for the eBay turbo kit because they call it a kit and they think they're getting a complete thing. And building a DIY turbo kit sounds a lot more intimidating if you don't know what you're doing, what you're looking for. But they have to understand that the eBay turbo kit is not a kit at all. You're just going to use, a few things from it, really.
Yep.
And that brings up another point that I put in one of my videos coming up also, that I use an eBay intercooler piping kit. I figured, well, piping is simple enough, couplers are simple enough, how could anything get messed up? And I didn't question the T-bolt clamps. And the T-bolt clamps are like not the right shape and size really. So I discovered I had like 10 boost leaks. So I had to tighten those things down as far as they could possibly go just to get them to seal, where a good quality T-bolt clamp, you don't have to make it that tight to get a good seal.
I would totally rock an eBay intercooler. Like, I would have no issues with that.
eBay intercoolers are fine.
Out of the world. No. Look over here.
No.
She's out.
Shy.
She's out.
We're shy.
Quang Win, I've never got it dynoed, and right now, like, the wastegate broke, so it's running like absolute crap. But once I get the new turbo in there, it's probably me making the same as David's was, probably like 130 max. Same thing as Greg's, it's broken boosted. So nothing special, but it puts a smile on my face, so I'm happy.
And a lot of people are asking what color. Well, it's going to be this color, light matte blue. And I'm not going to release the theme because the theme will be epic and everyone's going to hate it or love it. So it will be blue.
I gotta get my car resprayed. I'm still deciding on a color. I have no idea what to do. Cause like I don't want to do a color that's like stock, like a stock color. I also don't want to do something like stupid. But that's a nice color. But see, there's already blue Miatas. So I know you're doing a different theme, so yours will be different. But
yeah, and this is light blue. You don't have this color on a Miata. You should check up the website. Montana Gold Spray is this, and they have a lot of colors.
Are you spraying it yourself?
Yeah.
I'm trying to take mine to the shop.
This will be the how to a $50 paint job.
Yeah, I did my plastic dip job for like $70, but it didn't come out as well as I hoped. Just because I'm not gonna blame it on plastic dip, because plastic dip, when I did spray it good, it did do nice and it looked nice, but I'm not patient enough and I mess it up.
In reply to Alan Gutierrez, as far as like trying to boost your car yourself, I know Greg replied to it, but do research, like Greg said. Like it's an awesome experience to do yourself, but read up as much as you can before you even buy parts. Like so you know what you're doing.
I did like 1 year of just every time I went to work, I was on the computer looking on how to turbo your car.
Same.
Yep, just read.
The actual turning of the wrenches is not really that difficult, even for a beginner.
Yeah.
It's just all in the research. I still almost every day I'm trying to learn something new, because there's just more and more to learn, and the more you learn, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah. Very true.
Yep.
And someone's asking, what size rims and wheels do you recommend for a 91 Miata? Well, I would say 8-inch wide and diameter 15-inch.
Yeah. If you don't want to do fender work, 8s are safer. 9s you could probably fit without a lot of fender work, and I think it looks cooler. But if you have a stock motor, an 8 with a 205 tire will be lighter.
Thoughts on R888, Tyler?
Expensive, but I don't really have any like actual use out of them, so I couldn't give any actual feedback. Greg actually said that he used them like the proper way, so I'm sure he can give a little bit of a better review.
I actually had RA1s. I didn't have R888s. I had the RA1s, and I did not like them at all, and they wore out really fast. And my friend's car, he has a 240 wheel horsepower 1.6 Miata, and he was on brand new R888s, and I absolutely ran circles around him at the track. And it could have been partially due to his suspension, but he was having tons and tons of oversteer, and I was running on NT01s, and they were just amazing. Is an FMU an equal competitor versus an MS3? No, they're not even in the same ballpark. FMU is really just a Bandaid, and you're just forcing some more fuel through your injectors, and you still really don't have that much control over it. And MS3, you have full control over everything. It's way, way better. But it's more work. It's a lot more work to do it.
Can you run a 300 shot of NOS on a 1.6 Miata?
Sure.
I mean,
why
you
not?
could. It just depends on how long it's gonna last.
Probably did it like once or twice, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably safe with a 100 shot as long as it's tuned right. Don't just duct tape it on and crank it to max and expect it to last a long time. Someone's
240
asking?
SX versus Miata.
Good question.
Well, if you're wanting a cheap car, Miata, and if you have some more money, I would say 240.
And if you want to drift, a 240 is easier to learn with.
Because
it's
it has a longer wheelbase.
Right, and a
Yeah.
little bit heavier.
240 is like the go-to drift car, and it looks a little more manlier than the Miata. So if your manhood really gets hurt by driving a Miata, then go for a 240.
It's 240. Or even an AE86, even though they're like the same weight, the same power.
Red Beard Garage. This is hard to jack off to.
Oh my god.
What?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if I should feel complimented or what.
You must not be a Miata driver.
There are some more questions about tires coming up. Federal RSRs and Falcon Azeni 615s. Federal RSRs are really, really, really good for how cheap they are. They
I
perform.
like Jonathan's question.
What's his question?
What do y'all think about superchargers?
I think they sound awesome. And if you're going on track and want to have instant power, I would say go for supercharger.
Because
I
guys, to
do
be honest,
Pro Charger on the Vet.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. I was looking at superchargers, and I'm thinking about like doing a dirt cheap supercharger build.
I drove
Yeah,
one supercharged 1.6. It had 175 wheel horsepower, and I did not like it near as much as turbo.
Really,
Just how
that's what I was
it drove,
feeling
yeah.
because I love turbos. Like that's me. But
And
I think the difference is if you want to have a build up with power and then suddenly a boost, and with the supercharger it's constant power.
Yeah. And a lot of people say, oh, go supercharged because you get the really good bottom end torque. But if you look at a decently set up supercharged car against a decently set up car with a GT2554 on it, the GT2554 makes a way more torque in the bottom end. It doesn't come on, it's not as snappy, but it makes a ton more torque. So that's kind of an invalid argument.
Abdul asked how to turbo Miata the cheap way. I think David beat me on being cheap. David, you should reply to that one.
David beat
I think
everybody.
I think the cheapest way to do it is just avoiding the intercooler part. I think just because like you can keep all your like regular intake stuff, and then just the only intake stuff you have to pay for is just some silicone elbows to just turn around the turbo and then have it feed into the stock intake. But like that's really the only part, because it was like I think $30 for 2 silicone elbows, which is all I used, and just the turbo, the manifold, and the downpipe, and an FMU, and a boost gauge. That's all I did.
Yeah,
And it ran fine for 7 pounds.
Good point on the intercooler as well, because you can keep your power steering and AC very easily by doing it that way. Not that you have to delete it if you run intercooler piping, it's just more difficult.
Yeah, that was a problem for me too, because I wanted to keep all that. Even though my AC didn't work, I wanted to keep power steering and that stuff.
If you're trying to do a cheap turbo setup, chances are you're not trying to push more than like 8 psi, and at that point, like you don't really need an intercooler. Really, like if you're running really low boost, there's not much of a point.
Yeah, and also note that I never really like pushed the car for long periods of time and hard. like it was my daily, so I would just use it to like merge onto highways and stuff, and occasional rain drifting. But that was it. Never really tracked it or anything.
Yeah.
And it would
I do
definitely
it for the sound.
Yeah, the sound was a huge part because that was what made me really love turbos and making me really want to boost my cars, just because of that sound.
A lot of people ask how many psi can the stock engine handle, and that question has so many answers and so many variables to it. It's not just a number.
Yeah.
It really
So what's
depends
a conservative number?
on the turbo size.
A conservative number on a non-intercooled setup, I would say I wouldn't really want to go above 7 pounds on a non-intercooled setup, just because I had that friend with MegaSquirt that ran no intercooler, and he was between 7 and 8 pounds and getting really high intake temperatures. So I definitely wouldn't want to go above that. And then intercooled, if you have your fuel and your ignition under control, I'd say with any turbocharger, you're going to be pretty safe at 12 pounds or so.
So if you have an intercooler but no MegaSquirt, just Band-Aids, what would you say? Max PSI.
As long as you have control over your fuel and your ignition, you could run 10 or 12 pounds fine.
Or if you're running, just run 15 pounds on an FMU.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how he's getting away with 15 pounds with zero ignition control. And the last time I talked to him, he hadn't even retarded the CAS at all. He's running stock ignition. So I don't know how it's still going, but it sounds good.
But it was like I believe he had it blown like 3 times already. First time he blew out all of the gaskets or seals.
Yeah.
And last time some of his cylinders didn't work or something like that.
Yeah,
something with he melted his
PCV valve.
Yeah, and he melted his spark plug wires. They like broke. That was crazy. Okay, so another question about tires: the Zenny 615s. If they're cheaper than the other tires in their class, I guess they're worth it. But I still haven't heard really, really good reviews about a Zennies, the 615s. I don't see them a lot at autocrosses. I believe a lot better tire is the Advan 8008R or the Hankook RS3. I've run both of those. The Bridgestone RE71R is also another really fast one, possibly the fastest street tire available. What else? The 615 is just every review I've seen of them, they're just kind of like lower on the list for how fast they are. But compared to an all season, it'll be super fast.
Where are some go-to sites for research on turboing your car and to purchase
Turbo
from
Miata.
Miata Turbo.
There's one site. Oh, what was it? It's like MiataTurbo.wiki.net. Is that what it is, Greg?
Turbo.net.
MiataTurbo.net is the forum itself. There are tons and tons and tons of threads. I'm not sure.
But wait, when you're going to turbomiata.net, make sure you've done some research, because if you ask a stupid question, they will completely flame you.
Oh yeah.
I feel like most of my questions were answered just by searching Google, and then it pulls me up to a forum.
The website I always referred back to was miataturbo.wiki.com. That's what I always used. I'll put it in the chat. I don't know, like everything, like I found so much helpful information.
Electric turbo on the Miata. No, you shouldn't.
Those eBay ones.
Those literally don't make any power. You probably lose power. Go check out Mighty Car Mods. They did a video on it.
Oh yeah, they did. Leaf
That's
blowers
$20
work
electric
better.
turbo.
Yeah, leaf blowers on top.
Leaf blowers work
I
better
saw
than
that.
that.
I think they put 5 leaf blowers.
2.
Oh, 2. So maybe another channel did that. I swear, there was a channel that did. They started with 2, and then they ended up with like 5 leaf blowers in the back of the car.
Have you seen those Hondas that I've seen like a picture or something or a video of a Honda that has twin turbo and then 2 more turbos feeding those turbos? Is that useless at all? Like, or is that useful at all?
What was it again exactly?
It was, I don't know I think it was a Honda. I'm not sure what it was actually, but it was twin turbo.
Okay.
And then it was another turbo feeding each turbo. There was 2 more turbos feeding each turbo. I feel like that's completely useless, right?
You can make a good setup out of a sequential twin turbo, or even I guess you could do 2 turbos and then another one sequentially. But it's like, was the performance really any better than just running the properly sized single turbo on the car?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like that would have just been for show, but I just thought that was funny.
Like the Supras, MK4 Supras stock are sequential twin turbo, and so are the RX-7 FDs. They have one big one and one small one. So
I just feel like it would be very difficult to spool up 4 turbos, and they were all the same size though. It wasn't like one was smaller to try to get better spool up times or something.
I'm not sure. Someone twin turboed a Miata engine, and it was cool to see, but I don't think the complication of the piping was really worth the performance that he got out of it. Not that the performance was really any better than just running the right size single turbo, but it's a cool thing to say, I did it. If you Google twin turbo Miata, it's the only picture it's like the first picture that shows up. It's definitely the most popular one. He's got all kinds of, it's a.
Keeping the vet
What's that?
stock didn't really last too long.
What?
Tyler, what are you doing?
What was that?
What's up, Tyler?
What are you watching?
What is going on?
He's zoned out for a second.
What?
Guys, I actually need to be at work, guys.
What?
What were you doing?
I
We
actually
heard
need-
some strange noises.
I actually need to be at work.
No, I got copyrighted on one of my videos, so I was like very concerned.
Uh-oh.
So annoying.
Yeah. You need to check SoundCloud and if you can use it commercially.
Yeah, I know. I contacted the person and everything, and it's not supposed to be copyrighted, but
Did
That's the
someone?
worst.
Did you copy someone's camber?
someone's camber? No.
A ceramic turbo on a 1.6 Miata engine. Well, never heard of it. Greg, you?
Just a ceramic turbine wheel. I've heard of them. I mean, they're
Guys, I'm
supposed.
gonna have to abandon you guys.
All
I
right,
have
later,
to go
David.
to work.
Okay, no worries.
All right. Thank you guys so
We're-
much.
We're probably
Check out
gonna
my
wrap it
channel
up.
if you haven't already. Spoolin'Mexi.
It's in the description also.
Awesome. Thank
Fun
you
to
guys.
work.
We're probably gonna get ready to wrap it up here pretty soon, anyways.
Okay, yeah, I work at 3 and it's 3:07.
Oh, jeez.
I work at the mall just across the street, so it's okay.
All right. Well, good luck.
All right. See you guys.
But
See you, David.
So fun.
Someone asked a question about the reliability of a turbo Miata, and I feel like that can vary a lot based on how you built it. Pretty much, if you put it together good, the only difference between driving a stock Miata and a turbo Miata, for me, is just I'm under the hood at least once a week, just visually inspecting everything. And you have to be you have to listen closely to what's going on so you can catch problems.
I'm seeing a lot of questions over why not go supercharger, and the first answer that comes to mind is it's really difficult to find a supercharger for the Miata now. That's
And
cheap.
it's expensive.
Yeah, it's hard to find one. Like turbos are so easy to get a hold of,
They're just everywhere.
but
yeah, here in the Netherlands and Europe, you can get the Mercedes compressors and the Mini Cooper S superchargers really cheap, like $100. And a lot
Yeah.
of people use them. So you could use the 1.6 Mini Cooper supercharger if you can get a hold of it.
Jonathan Tristan, yeah, I'm in Texas, North Texas. I live in Fort Worth, so
One argument for the supercharger is that you don't have to change your exhaust at all. So it is kind of more simple to install
Sure.
at least. What are your thoughts on individual throttle bodies?
Sounds awesome.
It sounds really cool. I probably would not do it to any engine before a 99, just because you're already starting with more power, so you're going to get more out of it, and it looks really cool.
can I run 91 octane on stock 1.6 liter no turbo? Honestly, there's no point because the only reason you'd run higher octane is to prevent detonation. So
which you
Kinda
won't
dumb.
get on 87 octane anyways, unless you are advancing the timing. Which if you advance the
True,
timing,
true.
you should run 91. And anyone that buys a Miata, that's one of the first things they should check is what the ignition timing's at, because you never know if the previous owner or the guy before that advanced the timing to who knows what. And then you're thinking, oh, the Miata can take 87 octane just fine, and you put 87 in it, but the timing was advanced to 16 degrees base, then you could have a problem. So it's a good thing to check if you've never checked your Miata's ignition timing.
Why is there so many Donald Trump questions? Jesus, there's so many.
I think I'm gonna throw a party. I'm gonna get a big, gigantic American flag and just stick it on the back of my Vette. Just drive around. I'll take the
Running style?
mufflers back off and just bang it off the rev limiter.
You should put the flag like Chris Rudnick did in the hole from the antenna.
Yeah, no, I could do that. I'd have to get like a little mini one. The thing is it won't hold up too well. I mean, it maybe will hold up on a Miata that's going like 60 miles an hour, but it's not going to hold up on my Vette when I'm going whatever speed in Mexico.
In Mexico. Or Russia.
Yeah, or Russia, yeah.
Filmed in
Yeah, it's
Russia.
Russia.
Please start that. You guys heard it here first.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just too cold in Russia. Like you wouldn't be able to get any traction.
But you would have more power because of the dense air.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, but mostly turbo cars, though.
Yeah. And everyone has a dash cam there, so you can't really do some crazy things.
Well, you can. Just if you crash into them, they might, you're going to get screwed.
Yeah.
No, but there's like crazy drifting videos and stuff there.
Yeah, yeah. And all of those dash cam videos from guys who crash and people who want to claim some insurance and run in front of cars and all those crazy things.
That shit's super funny because it's like
Yeah.
you're just stupid. Like,
YouTube is completely filled with those videos, and every dashcam video is 9% of the time Russian.
I know.
Or those Saudi Arabian drift videos where they
yeah,
drift.
no, that's
Oh.
insane.
That's really insane.
People, it's like there's videos of people like literally in a bathrobe and sandals on the freeway hanging out of the side of their car, like surfing.
Yeah.
Have you
feel
seen the
like
ones
that's kinda
where they
racist.
change their tires?
Yeah, they changed the tires on
Yes.
the Jeep where they were driving on two wheels and they were standing on the other side of the car. That's insane.
And like a bunch of dudes just pile out. There's like 6 or 7 of them. They just like change his tire while they're just cruising down the road on 2 tires. Like what? I don't know how. It takes some skill.
Someone asked about my wheels and tires. I'm running Rotogrid Concave in a 15x9 and 225/45 Nitto NTO1s. Super, super sticky.
Tyler, are you going to boost one of your Miatas?
I mean, if the opportunity, presented itself, I would, but I don't plan to because I don't really care to. I don't know. I might eventually boost a Miata, but neither of the ones that I have now.
And will it be a decent turbo build or a cheap turbo build?
Most likely cheap. I mean, it depends. I mean, who knows? I mean, just like, with the sponsorship, you never know where any of this is going to take any of us. Like Greg, I'm surprised Greg hasn't gotten more performance, people coming to him. I'm not surprised that people don't come to me, but that's because I don't think I bring any value to most people's companies, whereas Greg does.
For camber kits?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, mine's custom, welded, so it's like all stuff people can do at home.
How do you guys feel about 6 speeds?
About what?
How do you guys feel about 6-speed? That's a question I saw in here.
I believe when you are turboing, you should get the 6-speed because the 5-speed will break, but I don't know.
The only problem that I have with the 6-speed is the ratios. Because they're
What
like
oil
shorter.
thickness and brand do you guys run?
I run
In
conventional.
Miata is really thick just because the lifter tick.
I run
I'm running
530
these-
Valvoline conventional.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, but
running
it's
the,
different if you're turboed. I run like 2050 or something like that.
I just run the stock 10W30. I go to Walmart and I get the Super Tech oil for like $11 for 5 quarts of it. That's what I run. I'm serious.
Yeah,
It
and
just burns it. So.
I'm running the 1040 here. That's what the car was game stock with, so, and it's cheap. Favorite car other than the Miata? Good question. Difficult.
The 300ZX has to be my runner-up. 90 to 96 300ZX. And
I would like to own a Skyline GTR R32 or R33.
Can you buy them there?
Yeah. But they are quite expensive. The R32 is like 12,000, R33 same, and the R34 is like 40,000 here.
I wouldn't want one
Which-
anyways. I'd way rather have an R33. I think
Yeah,
they'd
I
be
like
better.
I like the 33 and 32 the most.
Okay, what do we think about wrapping it up pretty soon here?
Yeah, it's quite late here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what time is it there? Super late.
It's 10:15
Okay. All right.
in the evening.
Thanks everyone for watching. Oh yeah, Jin Jim had an autocross today, so that's why he couldn't make it. Thank
So
you everyone for watching. I have everyone's channels are in the description, so make sure you check them out.
Including Jin Jim.
And
Yeah,
next time,
oh, yeah.
probably Rise and Miata will be here as well.
He texted me this morning. He said he wants to be in on the next one. So
Yeah, we gotta get Redneck in on it.
then our chat will be absolutely out of control. Okay, guys, I'm gonna take us off, and if everyone that's still watching, thank you all for coming. Thanks for
Yeah,
asking your
thanks for coming
questions,
by.
and we'll do it
Yeah,
again
thank
soon.
you guys. It was awesome.